I mean, the idea of the Braves using these bats, Matt Olson, Austin Riley, Marcelo Zuna, I mean, those are some really, really strong, powerful hitters. And
here we go. Scott Coleman joining us right now with a great hat, great FT hat, part of the FT network. Listen to Hammer Territory, many episodes every single week. They're back. They're cranking right now, but they're also providing therapy as they lost 4 in a row to start the year over in San Diego.
Hey, fellas, yeah, it was a rough opening start for the Braves. 0-4, which you said, and really it was just the offense was completely missing. The pitching was good, and I think that's an encouraging sign moving forward. But the Braves are 22 innings straight now without a single run scored. The last time they scored a run was the 5th inning of Friday night's Game 2. They got shut out on Saturday and Sunday, and they didn't get no hit or face a perfect game on Sunday. But the Braves sent 27 batters up and made 27 outs on Sunday Night Baseball. They had 1 hit and 1 walk, and both hitters were immediately erased by a double play. So the vibes are not great, especially for a team that really struggled offensively last year.
Yeah, but the Padres pitching staff is like super ridiculously good, right?
You know, it's funny. They hit best against Michael King and Dylan Cease.
Exactly.
So if they got mowed down by those two, then it's like, okay, whatever. Those are 2 of the 10 best pitchers in the National League last year. But they got shut down by Randy Vasquez on Saturday, got mowed down by Nick Pivetta on Sunday night, and then the Padres bullpen too. The Padres are a good team. If they went 0-4 against a not so good team, I think the panic would be even higher. But anytime you start out the year playing so poorly offensively and you're in a division with the Phillies and the Mets, which is going to be really tough, and now they go play 3 games at Dodger Stadium, we all knew it was going to be a tough start to the year. And I think everyone, even if they're frustrated, can objectively say this team still has a ton of talent and will figure it out eventually. But nobody feels good after an 0-4. That was the same vibe and message out of the clubhouse last night. And I think you just have to hope, if you're a Braves fan, that they get it going here soon.
So let's add to that, and I want to ask you, with Snit's comments and knowing how difficult that division is going to be, knowing how difficult this early road test is there any real panic? We've seen teams get hot, but we know the history of injuries, the lack of at bats in spring training. But is there any real panic, or is this just one of those things where it's like, hey, guys are still getting their feet up under them, still trying to get their timing together after facing a juggernaut of a staff, or we're going to be okay?
I think they're going to be fine. I think 2 things can be true. They did not play well at all this first 4 games of the year, but it's March 31st. There's 6 months and 158 games to go, and frankly, nobody hit. Austin Riley, Matt Olson, Marcelo Zuna drew some walks, but didn't really hit for much power. Michael Harris, Ozzie Albies. Like, there are just so many tried and true veterans in this lineup, and I have to think they're going to get going. So with any fan base, there's people probably on both sides of the ledger, people ready to jump off a bridge, and people also saying, guys, it's 4 games. Nobody wants to start 0-4, but there's 158 to go. And I think the truth probably lies somewhere in between. But at the end of the day, if I had to put my life savings on it, I'm guessing that give it a couple of weeks and the Braves will be just fine.
Wait, are you talking to fans or are you talking to Alex Anthopoulos? Because I looked up and they DFA'd a man that was throwing in the 7th inning of the first game. Was that a poor evaluation in spring training? Was there something that they saw? Because his first game, he touched a 95. I watched the game yesterday. I saw 91. Was it something that was going to happen? Or was it like, what we're seeing now is not that awesome?
So I think the Braves really needed someone who can eat innings right away, especially going into 3 games at Dodger Stadium. They had to go into their bullpen heavily on Sunday. And with Jesse Chavez coming back, I think, 1, they wanted a rubber arm who could eat multiple innings. And 2, you had to make room for him somehow. Neris it kind of caught me by surprise. It was a minor league deal, but by everyone around the team closest, it kind of felt like Neris was a lock for the bullpen. And Neris was not great last year, even if he was once upon a time very successful. And he only made 3 appearances in the spring and really did not look good. I think he only had 1 strikeout in those 3 appearances. And sure, he's a veteran. He's been doing this for a long time, but the stuff did not look great last night, like you said. And I think he was kind of the obvious person to go. I didn't necessarily see the Braves DFAing Hector Neris 4 games into the season, but I guess sometimes you have to make those type of moves, especially when you're 0-4 and going up against a juggernaut these next 3 nights.
Hey, you talk about a guy trying to eat innings, and we saw how dominant Spencer Strider looked after coming off TJ. Where is he right now? Because the Braves, I'm sure they're looking at the schedule right now going, man, we could use that guy. He looked pretty darn good in spring training. Where is he right now?
So Strider made his first minor league rehab appearance over the weekend and looked really good. 60 pitches, struck out 6 hitters, and the velocity was good. I believe the stadium radar gun was 95 to 97. So the feeling around the Braves is that Strider is going to make at least 2 more rehab appearances, really push him, get him up to 75 pitches probably in his next start in a couple days, and then get him up to 90, and then really evaluate. And if the stuff looks good, and so far it has looked really good, I'm guessing the Braves will have Strider back by middle of April. They are going to be careful with him as they have done all spring, and if they have to give him a couple extra days just to make sure he's ready to go. But adding Strider to this rotation, which should already be really good with Chris Sale, Spencer Schwellenbach, Ronaldo Lopez, it's just going to give the Braves yet another piece of ammunition to fire, especially if the lineup continues to struggle in the early going.
When they get back to Atlanta, they'll have played 3 games against the defending world champion. If they are, the way that the Dodgers are playing right now, if they come back to Atlanta 1-6, how is that home opener going to be received by Braves fans who I think come out more now when they're in the Battery than they did at Turner Field? But it always felt like Braves fans were just waiting for the playoffs. Are they going to be received differently coming back 1-6?
It's a great question. I think everybody would sleep easier if they could somehow find a way to win this series in LA. But I mean, I know that you guys were talking about it. I mean, the Dodgers are just such a wagon. They're going to see Tyler Glasnow tonight. They're going to see Blake Snell on Wednesday. So really, really tough series on the horizon. I think anytime you get the home team back, they're going to open up the series or the home slate against the Marlins, who aren't having a bad start to the year by any means, but obviously a team the Braves are going to be confident against. And then the Phillies come to town. So the Braves are going to need to kind of figure some things out here in a hurry. Again, yes, it is early, but you don't want to get into a situation where you're in the middle of April and you look up at the standings and you're already 5, 6, 7 games back. Obviously, there's plenty of time to get this thing on the right track, but nobody wants to be in such a hole early that you feel like you're swimming upstream, and hopefully they can win a game or 2 out in LA and then get back home and take care of business against Miami and then get ready for a really tough series against Philly.
More in a minute, but first, a quick word from our sponsor of this video. FT fam, I hope you have as much confidence as Penelope right now, who is an avid Spot and Tango fan, okay? And she uses the code FOUL, Kratz, because this is a personalized dog food subscription service that prevents you, of course, from going to the store to pick up the food, and she just gets the highest quality unkibble. That is what they're known for. And I know you love the quiz part of it too.
It's a super quick quiz, but it lets you give them the information and they tailor it to what is needed based on their age, size, activity level, all things that are custom for each and every one of your dogs.
Yeah, human grade ingredients in that unkibble. USDA meat, fruits, and veggies that are approved there. No artificial stuff, no preservatives. They've got the exclusive deal for the FT fam for a limited time. Go to spotandtango.com/foul. Use code FOUL to get 50% off your first order. That's spotandtango.com/foul. It's spotandtango.com/foul, code foul. And now back to the video.
You see a lot and hear a lot on social media. I don't really buy into it unless it comes from foul territory, my guy Scotty or Kratzy. But any truth to with the struggles in the offense, these torpedo bats, are the Braves looking to have an order of torpedo bats back in Atlanta? Because I don't know if they could cut them and get them to LA. But was that true? Any truth to that?
Yeah, we joked on our podcast last night. Hopefully they got some FedEx overnight shipping going. The Braves could use them. And Buster Olney last night, friend of the network, Buster Olney, said on the ESPN broadcast that the Braves did put an order in for the Torpedo Bats. It sounds like something that even Drake Baldwin, who is Atlanta's top prospect and is a catcher, Baldwin said that he was using them actually in the Arizona Fall League a couple of months ago. So it's interesting that these bats have seemingly been kind of known about, depending on what player you talk to. And then, the New York Yankees start using them and they go crazy over the weekend. And seemingly now, I would love to know the conversations happening in all 30 front offices. But it's not a surprise. Why not? If it's going to lead to the kind of power that the Yankees showed this first couple of days of the season, why wouldn't you try to use it and see if you can get something out of it? And fascinated to see what Major League Baseball does now that this is all the rage.
What's your take? Obviously, I'm in your boat, right? I didn't play Major League Baseball. It's cool to hear from Kratz and Cam beginning of the show. I recommend to anyone, if they're just catching this or catching a clip later on, to really watch how those two described the ongoing quest for players to get sweet spot contact. What's your take when you saw this over the weekend and then saw the analysis from people who are in the trenches every day about it? Do you think it's fine and fair? And if you want to add maybe a player or two that you think on Atlanta who needs to make more sweet spot contact, who can explore this? Because Volpe is the poster child right now for the Yankees.
It's funny, Scott. Somebody had a great tweet over the weekend, and I'm going to paraphrase it, but at the risk of sounding really ignorant, did it really take baseball teams 130 years and an MIT scientist to figure this out? Right? Like, it's almost so obvious. It's like, why did nobody think of this 5 or 10 years ago? That if the part of the baseball bat that you want to hit the ball with, why wouldn't you make that as scientifically sound as possible? It's fascinating to me. It's caught on nationally. It's on every talk show seemingly. And again, the Yankees results speak for themselves, even if that is a really powerful lineup to begin with. The idea of the Braves using these bats, Matt Olson, Austin Riley, Marcelo Zuna, those are some really, really strong, powerful hitters. And even guys like Michael Harris and Ozzie Albies, who maybe aren't your prototypical power guys, but both of them really rely on home runs and extra base hits to get there offensively. For a team like the Braves that hit 1 billion home runs just 2 seasons ago, why not, guys? I know I don't want to pretend like I was a 10-year veteran in the league, but it seems like it's at least worth something trying out and seeing if you get good results out of it.
No, don't try it unless you feel, when you pick a bat up, you're like, nope, this ain't going to be it. Because there's also, it's not like he's going to pick that bat up and then they'll put a different bat in his hand and say, oh yeah, this is the same one. You'll feel it instantly. And that weight is going to be closer to your hand. Some guys don't like that. Some guys want no cup. So the no cup on the end will push the weight even farther to the end. It is not, sorry, I don't know if that's bad to say, but it's not the arrow, it's the Indian. Okay?
Yes.
You have to go. You could have put the greatest bat ever in my hand. I'm still swinging and missing at the slider down and away, kid. Like there's some kryptonite. The only thing that kept me in the game anymore was guys stopped throwing sinkers. They threw more four-seamers, so I can hit a flat four-seamer. But yes, you're always trying. And when you say 130 years, guys have been trying this forever. Go back and look at Babe Ruth's bat, Ty Cobb's bat that's in the Hall of Fame that we were able to put white gloves on. The handle was almost the same size as the barrel. So they were trying different stuff. They were slapping the ball, little dudes using different size bats, big dudes. Jimmy Rollins, not to rub it into your Braves fandom, but Jimmy Rollins used Ryan Howard's bat in his 2007 MVP season. He used Big Piece's bat, which was 34 and a half, 33 or something like that. So everybody's always trying different stuff.
So let me ask you guys real quick then. Do you think this is going to catch on widespread around the league? Or do you think players are going to be hesitant to maybe change the bat that they've used their entire career?
Let me answer that, Kratzy. And this is what happens. Every spring training, you get vendors. They come in, different companies, and they say, hey, check out our bats. We have these bats. We've got the axe handle bat. We've got the super flare huge knob bat because it makes the balance better. I'm sure, and when you look at the fact that guys were even using this bat last year, and I'm probably even maybe a year before that. What happened was the company came in with that bat. And guys are like, I'm not using that. Man, you kidding me? I'm going to go up there with a bat that looks like a torpedo. Yeah, you kidding me? And then what happens was guys go on a national stage and hit 15 homers, and they're like, oh, well, you know what? Maybe it does work. And it's just like the placebo effect. If you think it works, it works. So I think it's just one of those things where just so happen the Yankees, one of the most historic franchises, they're on the biggest stage there is, even if they're playing the Brewers. Everybody got to see these bats work that series.
Scott, thanks for joining us. We'll see how your boys do the next few days, but it is the Dodgers. They too have not lost a game yet. Much more therapy for Braves fans on Hammer Territory if you check it out. Scott, thank you.
Hey everybody, be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.